In this particular session, we would be largely highlighting about this governance and the DRR leading to the coastal disaster risk reduction. And we know that we already have a system and pattern in place. We have a national policy, 2009. We have a National Disaster Management Act, 2005. And we also have a National Disaster Management Plan. So in the context of these three, many of the states have also come forward and they have made their own legislation, their own processes, and they have also followed many of the guidelines which has been there in the National Cyclone Risk Mitigation Project and also the guidelines. Now, in this particular session, we would like to know that with your experience, whether this governance is adequately strengthened, capacitated, or still there is a gap. So we need to know that how and what kind of valuable suggestions you are going to offer to this particular session so that this can be taken into the larger plenary. So to start with, I would request Sri P.P. Srivastav ji, who has been Achha, you will be speaking at the end. Okay, so he is preferring to speak in the end. But from the panel, we will not be speaking now. I would request the floor is open so that you can ask as many questions and the suggestions you can offer on, especially on the governance issues related to disaster. We know that we have a SDA, Disaster Authority, SDMA. We have a response governance also in the form of SDRF at the state level. We also have this DDMA at the district level and at the national level NDMA. So how these three are to be capacitated for taking the future actions, as you have seen in the morning, people have mentioned about increased vulnerability and also going to increase further. That is the intensity and the frequency in stand with the climate change issues. So now this floor is open, whether this is good enough or we have to move forward, and what are the dimensions which we should be discussing on governance issues related to DRR and coastal challenges. So now floor is open. We have Sri P.P. Srivastav Sahab is a very senior bureaucrat and been long association with the National Disaster Management Authority and Disaster Management per se. His wisdom would be there definitely, and he has seen that how from the district to the central, to the state level and also to the central level. And also we have a friend from Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy, Mr. Singh. So we all three will collate your ideas and finally we will give the reflections. But more of your ideas would be welcome. So I now, the floor is open with the permission of the sir. So floor is open. Now you can come out with your own ideas and suggest questions, queries, or any other suggestions which we think is important to be included in the governance.
Just one point. You see, our scientists have done us proud. We have got, as you might have heard in the earlier sessions, they have given details of the communication system, what they have done, what their capability in respect of all the natural disasters which affect the coastal areas where our focus lies today. Now, the whole, we may have everything, technically we may have the best things, but unless the governance and administration of the whole thing it is so governed and so administered that it reaches the last mile. The last mile is to be covered. So those suggestions would be most welcome. Let us discuss these points. How the ultimate objective is save lives and save our invaluable lives and valuable assets from natural disasters in coastal areas. So we'll welcome your suggestions and then we could discuss further. Thank you.
Yes, please. Intervention, whosoever will make intervention, I would request you to kindly introduce yourself and make your intervention, please. Whichever.
Hello. Namaste. I am Dr. Anil Kumar Sharma. I am Joint Director in the Department of Animal Husbandry, UP Government. I am Secretary, UP State Cattle Conservation Commission, as well as member of State Advisory Board of UP State Disaster Management Authority. Really, I see a big role of administration and governance in any type of disaster, not only coastal disaster, but in every disaster, the part played by the government is very, very important. We have to work at two levels, community and government. No one can work in isolation. Capacity building, proactive role, it is an important role, and society can only be trained with the interest of the governance. Good governance means less mortality, good capacity building, hence administration at lower level. If we go to at village level, block level, we are having disaster management committees at village level, where we have established with the help of the district administration, we have saved the life. I have an experience of working in the Indo-Nepal border districts which are worst sufferer of flood, drought also, but Bahrain, Shravasti, Balrampur, every time it is affected by flood. And flood is due to heavy water in Rapti as well as in Ghagra river from Nepal. It is only due to the district administration, we did mock drill exercise in the month of, positively in April. We started in April. And revamping of committees at block level with the help of community, as well as Yuvak Mangal Dal, Yuti Mangal Dal with the help of Youth Development Department, and then at Tehsil level with the help of revenue officials, and at district level. SDMA, with the help of SDMA, state in UP, mock drill was conducted in the month of April last year, and it was a proactive pre-planning of the role of NDRF, management of boats, etc., and training management at school level, because ultimately we have to rehabilitate persons in the schools and community buildings. Rehabilitation of human as well as animal is very necessary. Not only human being, but domestic animal, sheep and goat, cattle, because it is a means of livelihood for a rural person to evacuate from a flooded area. Everyone loves his property, home, and animals. That's why the rehabilitation of animal is equally important as well as the rehabilitation of the human being. Hence, we have revamped our schools, community centers, community hall, and we have to design in advance where we have to rehabilitate in the event of the flood. Hence, the good management, the proactive role of district administration, tehsil administration, and village administration, as well as the role of community is very important to mitigate the sufferings of any type of flood, whether it is natural or man-made. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. You brought two major points. It's one is the governance, and in this governance, the engagement of community and also inclusion of livestock and animal. That is very, very important. Yes, please.
Good afternoon to the chair and all the participants over here. I'm Shreya P. Singh. I'm an IAS officer working with the Government of Tamil Nadu. So I would like to tell you from the perspective of Government of Tamil Nadu what we are doing for disaster risk mitigation and what are the few bottlenecks that we faced during the Gaja cyclone that hit us. So I mean, as all of them have told over here, we are working from the village level. I come from a coastal district. I'm working in a coastal district called Viluppuram in Tamil Nadu now. We have village disaster risk management teams and village disaster risk mitigation programs that have been taken up. And in every village, coastal village, what we have developed 5 teams. Basically, early warning team, evacuation team, shelter management team, search and rescue team, and first aid team. So like this, we have developed 5 teams in every villages of Tamil Nadu, which are coastal villages. And we have trained these teams to do, each and every kind of work which have been identified for them. And with these teams, we have actually developed a village disaster risk management plan for each of the coastal villages. And in this plan, we have actually tried to identify all machineries which might be required in the time of disaster, and even like snake catchers who might be needed. So like small details like that, we have tried to identify village-wise who will be easily accessible at the time of any disaster that is happening. And this is how we have actually tried to develop it from the village level. And we have early warning shelters, and in case of any shelters, multi-purpose shelters. And specifically, we have developed cyclone shelters also, because cyclone shelters would be structurally different from the multi-purpose shelters. So like this shelters also we have developed along the coastal districts, and through, with the help of World Bank, like they have told already, we have already an coastal disaster risk reduction project, which is being done by World Bank and Tamil Nadu State Disaster Management Authority. So through that we have developed many projects, and also we are using the TN Smart app. The unique feature of this TN Smart app is that even if it is a silent mode, even if your phone is in silent mode, it will give you notification of any disaster that might be hitting your area. So with these apps, we are developing the local population, and we are actually trying to build confidence measures in them, and also helping them to mitigate any risk that might be happening. So this is as per the district level what we are doing, and we are also developing district disaster management plan, and in line with the state disaster management plan that is being developed. So recently cyclone which hit us was Gaja cyclone. So the main issue which which was a bottleneck during the Gaja cyclone was ensuring that we reached the last man in the village. What happened was, I'll say you an example of Nagapattinam district in Tamil Nadu. It is a unique geographical feature wherein you have a road, or the entire stretch of road which connects the district in the coastal area runs parallelly through the coast, and you have habitations on the either side of the road. So what happened was, when the Gaja cyclone hit, each and every coastal districts, one IAS officer and one political person. So together we worked. Every one of us were stationed like this in each of the coastal districts. But what happened was, we tried to, remove the basic structures or the roadblocks which was there from the initial point. So reaching up till the last point took a certain period of time. So by the time it reached the last point, villagers were restless. They were like, why it didn't reach us? Why you try to reach only the first point? So I think the first things that we have to ensure in any case of any disaster that will be hitting us would be ensuring that the connectivity is extended to even the last person who is hit on the ground. That would be the first thing we will have to ensure, and we will have to establish measures for that at first. Then we will have to ensure that all their basic needs are met, like food supplies and the basic whatever necessities are there. Initially itself, at the first hours itself, we will have to make sure that that is met for the last person. So, and one major thing was connectivity issue, because all the areas were hit by connectivity. We didn't have any telephone connectivity, and some of them who knew about the cyclone at first and who tried to move towards the last villages were actually cut off. We didn't have any sort of communication for the initial hours. So we are using the police force and others to move around and try to communicate. And as all of you know, airdropping is not immediately available. That would be available only at a later stage. Once you have to communicate to them, you have to get a permissions and all lot of stuff like that. After that only that facility also comes. So ensuring the mobility towards till the end of the mile of the connectivity was the main issue that we faced during that time. Once that was happening, it was all right, but it took 2-3 days. So, I guess we'll have to develop some measures and understand the geographical area of as such, and have measures in place whereby within a few hours or at least by a day, we should be able to reach towards the last man who is available in the area hit by any cyclone or any disaster. So these are some things that I would like to say from my experience and how we are doing in the government of Tamil Nadu. Thank you.
Thank you very much for highlighting points related to last mile engagement of the risk management volunteers at the village level, rehabilitation team. I would like to just request all the delegates who are participating in this particular session, when we talk about governance, as Ms. Shreya has shared, we need to also look at that governance of response would be different than governance of risk management. Governance of risk management would be different with the long-term recovery and rehabilitation. Governance of long-term recovery and rehabilitation would be different with the relief administration, so relief management. So taking all that into account, please focus your points, and it's not we are confining only to response, but also as a whole holistic perspective of risk. So thank you very much for bringing those points into that risk mitigation as well as response. Yes, please.
सर मैं राकेश भट्ट हूँ और 2006 ऑनवर्ड्स मैं डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट में डिजास्टर्स मैनेजमेंट प्रोग्राम में एज ए डिस्ट्रिक्ट प्रोजेक्ट ऑफिसर सहारनपुर में जॉब किया था। उस टाइम सर विलेज लेवल पे हम लोगों ने विलेज डिस्ट्रिक्ट मैनेजमेंट प्लान विलेज डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट प्लान बनाया था। फिर बाद में मेरी जो पोस्टिंग थी वो अर्बन मैनेजमेंट प्रोग्राम में होगी, वहाँ पे हमने वार्ड लेवल प्लान बनाया। अभी मैं मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हाउसिंग एंड अर्बन अफेयर्स का काम कर रहा हूँ स्मार्ट सिटी के लिए, और अब ये देखता हूँ कि कोई भी प्लान जो है एग्जिस्ट नहीं कर रहा है। जिन डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में हमने प्लान बनाया था यूपी के 6 डिस्ट्रिक्ट से और 75 डिस्ट्रिक्ट जो हमारे यूपी के हैं जहाँ पे हमारा विलेज लेवल प्लान बना था, वो प्लान कहीं भी एग्जिस्ट नहीं करता। और जो हमने डिस्ट्रिक्ट प्लान बनाए थे, डिस्ट्रिक्ट डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट प्लान बनाया था, उसका जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट डेवलपमेंट प्लान है उसके साथ कहीं कोई कन्वर्जेंस नहीं है। और फिर वो जो मैन पावर थी जिसे हमने ट्रेन किया था, जिसे कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग की थी, उसका कहीं भी एग्जिस्टेंस आज की डेट में मुझे नहीं दिख रहा है। और 2005 में सर डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट एक्ट बनने के बाद सेम टाइम पे मुझे लगता है कि उसी टाइम मनरेगा का भी एक्ट बना था, और विलेज लेवल पे मनरेगा की जो एक्सेप्टेंस है उस एक्ट की एक्सेप्टेंस जो है बहुत ज़्यादा है। और आज की डेट में जो हमारा एक्ट है डीएम एक्ट जो है विलेज लेवल पे उतना एक्सेप्टेबल शायद नहीं है, जो ये मेरा पर्सनल व्यू है, या उतना अभी अवेयर नहीं है लोग। वन थिंग सर मोर कि जैसे कम्युनिटी रेडियो का सर बात भी आई थी, किसी को ये पता नहीं कि कौन से कम्युनिटी रेडियो स्टेशंस हैं जो फोकस्ड करते हैं डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट पर्सपेक्टिव्स को। अगर कोई मैसेज हमें कन्वे करना है जो कम्युनिटी लेवल पे जाना है, तो किसको और कहाँ कंसर्न करेंगे, वो किसी के पास कोई डेटा बैंक नहीं है। मैंने कई बार खोजने की कोशिश की नेट पे और तमाम माध्यम से, लेकिन मुझे वो नहीं मिला। दूसरा कि जो आज से 5 साल पहले जो वार्ड लेवल प्लान बने थे डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में, उनको अपडेट करना और अपग्रेड करना, और प्लस ट्रेनिंग एंड कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग वाला पार्ट है उसको इन्वॉल्व करना, और जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट प्लान और भी चल रहे हैं उनके साथ जो कन्वर्जेंस होना चाहिए डेवलपमेंट प्लान के साथ, वो नहीं हो रहा है। जो लाइक माइंडेड इंस्टीट्यूशंस है, लाइक सिविल डिफेंस है, एनसीसी है, एनएसएस है, रेड क्रॉस है, इनके बीच में भी आपस में कोऑर्डिनेशन नहीं है, वो सेपरेट बॉडी की तरह वर्क कर रहे हैं। जबकि डिजास्टर एक ऐसा अम्ब्रेला कि जहाँ पे सबको एक साथ कोऑर्डिनेट होकर काम करना चाहिए। तो जब भी मेरी बात होती है, मैं रोटरी क्लब के साथ जाता हूँ, किसी और के साथ जाता हूँ, बहुत सारी एजेंसीज हैं जो एनिमल वेलफेयर पे काम करती हैं। जी सर, तो ये मैं चाहता हूँ ये जो कन्वर्जेंस वाला पार्ट है, इसे अगर ऊपर के लेवल से शायद फोर्सफुली इन्वॉल्व किया जाए तो ज़्यादा इफेक्टिव होगा और अपडेट एंड अपग्रेड हो सकेगा। ओके, थैंक यू सर।
So good afternoon to all. I'm Dr. Jay Bolan from Geological Survey of India, looking after public good science. The two things just I want to discuss here. Morning itself we had a discussion regarding the tsunami. So first things actually our ultimate aim is to reduce disaster risk reductions along the coastal stretch. So one thing, the existing the Coastal Zone Management Regulation Act, it has to be implemented very strictly, sir. Because soon after the tsunami, that is a rapid assessment has been carried out for the entire West Coast, which I saw that the worst affected, houses or the human settlements are the constructed all along the coast, very near to the coast. So like ASI, Archaeological Survey of India, there is a zone of act. For example, protected zone, restricted zones, then there are certain limit. So there should be a protection zones. Let it be either it is a 50 meter or 100 meter. There should not be any activities or even human settlements. So that is one way that you can reduce the things, sir. Then another thing is, for example, cyclones, sir. See, cyclone and impact. See what it happens in the, Chennai flood. So we did the multi-thematic reappraisal of Chennai urban agglomeration. So that, one of my earlier speaker also mentioned that. So how to reduce this one? See, main thing, either it is a tsunami or any of the high tides or even the cyclones. That will take its own course. Wherever the estuaries are there, that was worst affected. For example, during the tsunami, the Paliyar, one river was there was a bridge, the entire bridge was taken away. That is encroachment. That encroachment has to be looked into the matter. So that is one of the causative factors. Another thing is all the drainage systems. See, for example, in Chennai coast, there was a Buckingham Canal that stands from Andhra to even at Travancore. Earlier, Britishers used that canal for the transport systems as well as for the transporting the goods. But now where it is? In case of any heavy downpour, that the Buckingham Canal, which is located all along the coast, east coast, that used to take care. But that now almost is vanished, or it is encroached, or is abandoned. So these are the things to be taken care for the administration. Thank you, sir.
Much. Thank you. Now
Good afternoon to you all. I am just going to add the experience. My name is Pawan Kumar. I am a research scholar from Department of Geography, University of Delhi. I just want to share my experience, and in that context, I want to draw attention to the administrators and the person who are in charge of some events. One thing I have seen that during effigy burning, particular of Ravan or some other type of events, people get assembled, and the people who are in charge of those very things are mostly police personnel, and they are not well familiar that how they have to handle the crowd. Instead of handling the crowd in an amicably manner, they just shouted and they start lathi charge. Instead of, so from this very words, chaos started. And when the chaos started, the vulnerability and the disaster become more. Second thing is that there are so many institutions running in India, and most of the institutions are fake. If you will go into their advertisement of those institutions, you will find that they have written in their poster or in their pamphlet that these are the courses which we people provide, these are the government approved, these are the UGC approved. But when you look into it, you will find that the people who are running those institutions, they themselves have not done any certified courses from any of the certified institutions for such type of handling disasters or making people learn them to how to contain such type of disasters. So this is very important, especially must be looked into it, because the person who is learning from that institution, their time and money both is spoiling. And third thing is that there should be important points must be incorporated in each and every syllabus of every institutions who are running either disaster management courses or not. Because if the person who is attending that classes or that very workshop, they will become familiar that if something mishap from God's side, it should not be. But if, let us consider that if it happens, then you people will find that they have not made any strategy to avoid from that situations. So, for example, let us consider that this area is very large. So we should just give some points that yes, the area is small, people are large, so if chaos will happen, more tragedy will happen. So these very points must be taken into consideration while doing these very things.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Saranya, Joint Director from Ministry of Environment and Forest. I'll be very brief on the legislation which is currently in place in India. I'm looking after the coastal regulation in India and primarily responsible for the implementation of coastal sea hazard notification 2011 as well as 2019. As far as this coastal regulation, this is having as aim to ensure the livelihood of the coastal areas and the coastal communities also. For that, we don't have any direct role in the disaster management as such, but then we do demarcate 500 meters from HTL and 12 nautical miles in the seashore as a coastal regulation zone. And in this, whatever the developmental activities coming up should require prior clearance either from the state or the central authorities. And in regarding with Mr. Jaybalan was talking about the encroachment in these areas. And that can be taken up well with the established state coastal zone management authorities in all the coastal states. And regarding development activities in that area, that will be always regulated. It is in place. Legislation is always in place. And we have also come up with an hazard line. This hazard line was demarcated by Ministry of Earth, Environment and Forest through the Survey of India. And this has been a regulatory tool as per CRZ notification 2011. This hazard line will be like showing you at the worst cases what will be the height of the tide line reaching the landward side. But now practically it is impossible for the, this to be as a regulatory tool even for the development activities to come up in the coastal areas. And now in the CRZ notification 2019, we have come up and we have made this hazard line as management tool. And that's all. Thank you.
It's a very good point she has made from the Ministry of Environment and Forest. This coastal regulations, how this is going to be regulated. You have authority also at the Coastal Regulation Authority and Disaster Authority, whether they are mixing it up or they said that it's not your work, disaster management. But definitely we need to coordinate with each other. Please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am scientist in Inter-University Accelerator Center, working on disaster problems. I have little suggestion. My name is Neil Ratan Singh. I have little suggestion. Actually, governance and administration has its own importance, and by law, administration and governance, we can work. But I have little suggestion. We need some good research institutes where we can perform our research related to disaster. Thank you very much.
जी नमस्कार, मैं गोपालगंज बिहार से आया हूँ। मेरा नाम कृपा शंकर श्रीवास्तव है और सामुदायिक रेडियो स्टेशन का संचालन करता हूँ। हैम रेडियो और सामुदायिक रेडियो किसी भी प्राकृतिक आपदा में बहुत सराहनीय कार्य करता है। मैं 2009 से लगातार सामुदायिक रेडियो स्टेशन का संचालन कर रहा हूं। उत्तर बिहार में प्रति वर्ष जो है गोपालगंज, सिवान, छपरा में बाढ़ आता है और उस समय शासन प्रशासन के साथ मिलकर इस आपदा से निपटने के लिए हम लोग प्रयास करते हैं। और सामुदायिक रेडियो स्टेशन पूरे भारतवर्ष में करीब करीब 300 हैं और हर प्राकृतिक आपदा में स्थानीय प्रशासन जो है कम्युनिटी रेडियो का सहयोग लेती है और सहयोग देती है। इसके लिए हमें लगता है कि भारत के जितने भी सामुदायिक रेडियो स्टेशन हैं, स्थानीय प्रशासन, लोकल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन जो है इसके लिए प्रशस्ति पत्र भी देती है। एनडीआरएफ की टीम स्टेट गवर्नमेंट में जो बचाव दल आपदा प्रबंधन के लिए बिहार में बना है, वह भी जो है सामुदायिक रेडियो के माध्यम से जन जागरण का काम करती है। हमारे देश के वैज्ञानिकों के पास बहुत सारी जानकारियां हैं जिसके वजह से प्राकृतिक आपदा में बचाव करने में सहायता मिलता है, लेकिन उन्हें जन जन तक कैसे पहुंचाया जाए। हैम रेडियो का उपयोग हम केवल प्राकृतिक आपदा में करते हैं, लेकिन सामुदायिक रेडियो स्टेशन अपने रेडियस के अंदर प्रतिदिन 15 से 20 घंटे बजती है और वह लोगों का सुझाव लेती है और देती है। मैं इस डेक के माध्यम से आप सबों से यही कहना चाहता हूं, जो भी कार्य योजना बनाया जाए उसमें सामुदायिक रेडियो को भी स्थान दिया जाए। जो काम हम स्थानीय स्तर पर कर रहे हैं, राष्ट्रीय स्तर से भी सहयोग दिया जाए। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। नमस्कार।
Thank you, Chair, for giving opportunity to share few thoughts. Just before two speakers, an official from Ministry of Environment and Forests was discussing about ICZM. Again, the thing which is being discussed since morning, that we are living in silos, we are working in silos. And sometimes this silo is not from other ministry or other department or other sector, but in fact in our own departments. Madam, it was last year only when Mr. Mehta was Additional Secretary and Project Director of ICZM. He made a presentation in our conference on Prime Minister's Agenda 10. Mr. Chairman, you would recall. And he had made a detailed deliberation that how ICZM is relevant for disaster risk reduction for the entire southern India and particularly for the coastal areas. We also had organized a program on coastal disasters jointly with Coast Guard, and there also the issues of ICZM were very, very important. In fact, we are closely working with Ministry of Environment and Forests, and today only just in the morning, we received a very emergent letter from Ministry to help with developing disaster management plan of the Ministry of Environment and Forests within next 3 or 4 months' time. So there are things which are moving very fast, but we are not aware that what is happening in our own department, our own ministries. So we need to understand the interrelationship between various sectors. Beside this, there's a lot of opportunities and lot of interventions which have been already taken place in coastal areas. Professor Santosh Kumar was discussing about the Pichavaram mangrove afforestation near Puducherry. There are several such initiatives by the forest departments, central government, central ministry of environment, but we are not aware and sometimes we are not able to relate that what are the implications of the ecosystem-based approaches or ecosystem rejuvenation to disaster risk reduction or safeguarding our infrastructure. So we need to look at this. In the past month itself, we had a very detailed meeting of adaptation fund. And there were more than half of the projects were related with coastal areas, and those were primarily under ICZM, but directly addressing the issues of disaster risk reduction. So it is just to highlight. Then beside this, the issues related with oil spills, issues related with erosion, issues related with coastal cities and coastal infrastructure protection are directly related with ICZM. So this is just to reiterate that we need to look at the interrelationship between various sectors, and then only the objectives of disaster risk reduction, we can really support the initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Gupta, for highlighting about this and breaking the silos, and Ministry of Environment and Forests initiative for making DM plan and how to bring them together. A lot of initiatives which have been taken by the Forest Department is also not recognized by the SDMAs and all. The SDMAs will also need to relook and how these two are integrated at the local level. So adaptation and erosion funding is also very, very important, whether the structure or infrastructure at the coastal level are insured or not. If and in case of disaster happens, what will happen to the next time, from where will be funding. So governing finance is also one of the important by highlighting this adaptation fund and related issues. Thank you very much for this. Now I would request Mr. Singh to just collate and sum up that what has been deliberated by the delegates, and after that we will request Mr. P.P. Srivastava sahab to final comments for that. Mr. Singh.
Good afternoon. All presentations are very good, and it is not a focus of the coastal area. Some participant has not given the coastal area focus. So I can give to it.
Now I would request Mr. P.P. Srivastava sir to give his comments on the deliberations which has happened and his insights on this. Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, my comment is compliments to the NIDM for covering each sector of their charter of educating people in all types of disasters at the national level. Now, as far as governance is concerned, the task for governance and administration is to take a holistic view of whatever problem comes in and reach it to the people. So for that, for this particular natural disaster, we first of all, let us categorize our task into area, because each area has got a slightly different vulnerability and problem in so far as disaster is concerned. Second is the people, sections of the people. Different sections have got different responses and different needs and different treatment they require. And the third is the type of disaster. So these three things we have to always keep in mind. Then the next thing is, what have we to say? The first thing is the vulnerability of that particular area, a particular disaster to that particular area and the people, sections of the people living there. The third thing will be early warning. That is very necessary because our main purpose is to save lives, invaluable lives and valuable property. That we have, assets have to be saved. So, and third thing is safety procedure for each contingency. And not merely knowledge of safety procedure, but drilling them so that at the time of crisis, he should not have to sit down and contemplate कि अब क्या करना है इसमें, what to do. No, it should come as a reflex action. So that much drilling is to be done. And the last thing is, as has been pointed out, it is not merely the human beings. It is also we have to protect our livestock, animals, and environment also. If environment gets destroyed, we are spoiling our future completely. So these three things have to be focused. How will we succeed in it? We have got, agency-wise, we are perhaps one of the best in the world. State, National Disaster Management Authority, State Disaster, District. But what about below? Each area, how do we reach the local people? Now, what we can say that yes, village panchayat, where it is active, in fact, panchayat should be made aware of the whole thing, and they should be given that responsibility, and it should be seen that they carry out the responsibility. But what about the towns? In the city, the unit is a mohalla, a residential area or a market area or whatever. Unless we focus there, we tried it out in Guwahati once. It's a difficult task, but it can be done. But the main thing is, physical things we have done it. Intellectually we have been passing out. But then we have to go beyond that. The people have to be prepared. The community has to be made an active stakeholder in disaster management. Without that, we will not succeed. Today, the situation is that the government and our scientists, our education institutions and NIDM and NDMA, they have got all the information. They want to give it to the people, but takers are not that enthusiastic. If a DC sends a notice कि भाई यहाँ इकट्ठा हो जाना, एक public meeting कर रहे हैं, not many people will come. Why? Because this disaster management is today a supply-driven activity. It has to be made a demand-driven activity. The people should demand कि ये करो हमारे लिए, what are you doing this thing? Train us. Then only it will come. And how to make it demand driven? Not by an edict from the government. It has to come from within. Inspiration for getting prepared for this has to come from within. For that, we have to tackle it at the physical level, at the intellectual level, and also at the spiritual level. At the physical level, we have to, this inspiration, we have to, how we can inspire the community? I am taking my example. Now at 86-year-old, if you come and tell me something, it may come, enter here and come out here. But if my grandson comes and tells me that, look here, we have been told that, you can save yourself from earthquake in this manner, from this thing, and if you don't do it, we will all lose our lives. That will strike. So inspiration has to come from within and the community, and the best thing is children. School safety program is being done. I have tried this experiment in the Northeast. We've gone to the school and asked the children, कि भाई देखो तुमने अभी exercise की, a wonderful duck and all that thing they have done, saved your lives. But when you go back home, you find people dead, your own brother, sister, parents, other. How will you feel? Won't you feel that you should have trained them also? They said, हम कैसे train करेंगे? हमने कहा तुम उनको करो तो सही, बताओ तो सही कि हम training का. You ask the people, ask your teacher, ask everybody. We ask the SDMAs to organize training for them at mohalla level, so that you, your neighbor, for each section of people, and but you have to mobilize, inspire the community from within, make the community an active stakeholder. And I said spiritual dimension also, not by this thing. What is spiritual dimension? In every faith, saving of life is the act of the greatest merit. These people, everybody has to be told this thing and said कि भाई तुम अपनी जान भी बचाओ, ये भी तुम्हारा धर्म है, और बाकियों की जान बचाओ, इससे बढ़िया और कोई धर्म का काम नहीं होता है. Take action in this, take it. So that way, it will come from, the traditional people will learn like. Thank you very much. It's wonderful.
Thank you very much, Shri Srivastava, for making this as a kind of a very, very innermost, touching the innermost chord of the saving lives and the life and livelihood in terms of livestock, when we are also focusing on. We know that the whole disaster management process starts from compassion and love. If that is not there, we are missing the thread. So whatever has been said, if we do not have about the compassion and love, and we say that all human beings have this basic thread, only thing we have to work on this. So several examples have been discussed here, several suggestions have been made. I have noted down your points, which would be deliberated upon in the main session plenary. Quick points which are in terms of that you wish to know that what have been deliberated and what have been noted here. I would just like to run through quickly and then we will close it because the time is already up. So I think I should stop rather than instead of reading it out, because time is already up and I'm going to get this signal. Only thing which I would mention with the closeness, the holistic view is needed. That's the important thing. So whatever the management which we have created or the governance structure we have created, how that should be optimized at the time of disaster and also before the disaster. It's not that work ex post disaster, but also ex ante disaster risk management. And many agencies who are into development work which they are working needs to be integrated. Our student also mentioned about this institution, the creditable institution and accredited trainers or the faculty should also be there. So many things are there. So I take this opportunity to thank you. But before I thank you, I would like to thank Sri P.P. Srivastava Sahab, who really brought this into forefront and with his experience and wisdom. And he said that 86 years old person is sitting and asking for the request. So you can very well imagine that how much he is concerned about the future generation who is going to come and join. So I really thank, and I would request all of you to give a big applause to him. And thank you. Mr. Singh also from the Lal Bahadur Shastri Academy, and last but not the least to all the delegates who have contributed and made your point. either silently means with there, whatever the people are saying that you are having an agreement, so that we say that support silently and also supported loudly. Thank you very much to all of you. So we break for lunch, and after this, the entire deliberations would be shared, and you will be there, I hope, so that you can listen to that, whether your point has been covered or not. You will also get an opportunity to add on there also. Thank you.